Ezra 4:24. Bedayin batelat avidat bet elacha di Birushalem v'chayat batala ad shana tartain le malachut Daryavesh melech Paras. Now, much of this verse is still in Aramaic, so I'm going to translate it, but we'll just talk about one of the Hebrew parts of it. When, thus, and this is probably idiom for then, it ceased the work on the house of God, who is in Jerusalem. And it was ceased until the year 2 of the rule of Darius, king of Persia. Now, please note that we have what we call a resumptive repetition. That is, we notice the same exact phrase used in Ezra 4:5 and Ezra 4:24. And this really is very important to recognize because, if you recall, what we had in Ezra 4:6 was a single verse about the rule of Xerxes and some troubles of the restoration community then. And then in verses really 7 through 23, there is some trouble from the time of Artaxerxes with rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem. And so what we have then is this resumptive repetition brings us back to the days of Darius. Now, to appreciate this, we really need to fill in some dates here so you can kind of get this. Darius's rule spans from 522 to 486 BCE. Let me write that 4 a little bit better. Xerxes' rule goes from 486 through 465, and Artaxerxes' rule goes from 465 all the way down to 423. So what we have then is essentially that verses 4 through 23 are a preview of the future that is folded into the story of the earliest generation of Zerubbabel, Yeshua, and company, and their frustrations with not being able to finish the temple. So this resumptive repetition creates an envelope in which the narrator inserts these previews of future troubles about other things unrelated to the temple building as a way of supplementing the trouble that the people were having back in the days of Darius. So, in other words, because there was a lack of an historical source, the narrator used these future troubles to kind of show the kinds of things that were like, or an analogy of, the future were the sorts of troubles that is suggested they were having in the days of Darius as well. So the key point here is to really take note of this resumptive repetition and how that can help us with this very difficult insertion of these preview passages.